For years, the mysteries surrounding Skinwalker Ranch have baffled scientists, military insiders, and paranormal investigators across the world. Located deep in the Utah desert, this infamous 512-acre property has been the epicenter of some of the most shocking encounters ever recorded, from unidentified aerial phenomena and glowing orbs to cattle mutilations and sightings of creatures that defy all logic. But until now, every attempt to uncover the truth has run into the same invisible wall. Silence, secrecy, and forces determined to keep the world in the dark. That changed when the History Channel team made a discovery beneath the ranch that none of them were prepared for. What they found buried underground has stunned the scientific community and forced even the most hardened skeptics to reconsider everything they thought they knew about this place. Advanced scanning technology revealed something enormous below the surface, something metallic, intelligently constructed, and far older than any structure ever documented in North America. And the moment they tried to investigate further, every instrument malfunctioned, compasses spun wildly, and a massive surge of radiation erupted from the ground, threatening the entire crew. The government response was immediate and terrifying. What exactly is buried beneath the surface of Skinwalker Ranch? Why is access to this discovery being restricted so aggressively? And could this finally prove that humanity is not alone? This investigation is only the beginning, and what follows may change everything we think we know. Please comment subscribed if you want more updates, and make sure to subscribe for the next episode. For generations, Skinwalker Ranch has carried a reputation that most people would rather avoid than investigate. Located in the remote Uintah Basin of northeastern Utah, the land appears ordinary from a distance, but those who understand its history know that it is anything but ordinary. Long before modern researchers set foot here, Native American tribes, particularly the Ute Nation, feared the land and refused to cross it without protection. According to their oral history, the region is cursed by a supernatural force known as the Skinwalker, a terrifying shape-shifting entity capable of taking the form of animals or humans. These legends describe beings with unnatural speed, glowing eyes, and a violent hunger for destruction. For the tribes, this land was never meant to be lived on. It was a forbidden zone. In the 1950s and throughout the Cold War, the United States government quietly began to monitor unusual aerial activity in the area. Reports surfaced of unidentified craft flying silently above the ranch, moving in impossible patterns, accelerating faster than any known aircraft, and vanishing instantly. Military documents and eyewitness testimonials suggest that Skinwalker Ranch became a watch point for classified aerospace surveillance, though the government never publicly admitted it. Pilots, ranchers, and local law enforcement reported encounters that could not be explained, and yet official records consistently dismissed them as imagination or misidentification. The modern era of mystery deepened in the 1990s when the property was purchased by the Sherman family. They lasted only 2 years before fleeing in fear after witnessing a series of horrifying incidents. Their cattle were found mutilated with surgical precision, organs removed without a drop of blood. Massive wolves that appeared impossible to kill surrounded their livestock, surviving multiple gunshots and vanishing without tracks. Strange lights and metallic objects hovered silently overhead. At night, voices in unknown languages echoed across the fields, and something unseen prowled around their home, banging on doors and windows with intelligence and intent. The Shermans left the ranch convinced that what they experienced was not of this world. Soon after, billionaire aerospace entrepreneur Robert Bigelow acquired the property and deployed a scientific research unit called the National Institute for Discovery Science. For years, they recorded powerful electromagnetic disturbances, sudden temperature drops, equipment failures, and sightings of glowing portals opening in the sky. Yet, despite extensive research, nothing could be conclusively explained, and many scientists left abruptly, claiming the ranch was too dangerous and unpredictable to continue working safely. Even trained professionals refused to remain alone on the property after dark. These disturbing patterns established Skinwalker Ranch as one of the most heavily studied paranormal hotspots in the world, a location where science, military secrecy, and ancient legend intersect in a way that defies conventional understanding. Every attempt to unravel its mysteries has resulted in more questions instead of answers. Fear, silence, and secrecy have shaped the ranch for decades, turning it into a place where reality seems to break apart. But everything changed when the History Channel team arrived, equipped with modern technology, designed not to observe from a distance, but to explore deeper than anyone had dared before. Their investigation would lead them beneath the surface of the ranch itself, revealing something no one was prepared to confront. The team's arrival marked the beginning of a new era of discovery, and what they uncovered in their first major scan would shake the foundation of everything previously believed about this land. When ownership of Skinwalker Ranch changed hands in 2016, the new objective shifted from secrecy to structured scientific investigation. Brandon Fugel, a respected real estate investor with deep interest in aerospace technology and unexplained phenomena, purchased the ranch and agreed to allow the History Channel to document a full-scale research project unlike anything attempted before. This team would not rely on rumors or eyewitness testimonies alone. They intended to apply controlled measurement, scientific procedure, and advanced technology to uncover whatever forces were at work beneath the ranch. The research crew assembled included engineers, physicists, military-trained security, and specialists in radiation, astrophysics, and electromagnetic anomalies. They arrived on the property with equipment rarely used outside classified military projects: high-frequency aerial drones, multi-spectrum surveillance systems, radiation tracking arrays, night vision observatories, magnetic field analyzers, and ground-penetrating radar capable of mapping structures hundreds of feet below the Earth's surface. Their mission was simple in statement, but overwhelmingly dangerous in execution. Collect undeniable evidence of what is happening on and under Skinwalker Ranch. From the first day, the environment resisted their presence. Electronic devices that had been thoroughly tested off-site malfunctioned instantly upon activation. Batteries that should have lasted hours drained within minutes. Surveillance cameras recorded intense bursts of interference that appeared as static or horizontal light distortions. Even personal cell phones shut down without explanation. Every time the team attempted to push deeper into data collection, something unseen pushed back. Soon, measurable abnormalities began to appear. Electromagnetic readings fluctuated violently, rising to levels considered hazardous to human health. GPS signals locked on to impossible coordinates, placing devices miles above the surface of the Earth. Animals on the ranch behaved unpredictably, refusing to approach certain areas and reacting aggressively to locations where instrumentation detected strong fields of radiation. Several team members experienced severe headaches, nausea, or skin burns without any physical source. The ranch seemed to respond like a living organism, defending itself. The team focused their attention on a region where instruments repeatedly detected powerful disturbances. The reading suggested that something massive and solid was buried underground. Using expanded ground-penetrating radar, the team began a detailed scan of the area. When the image resolved, the result was shocking. A symmetrical, metallic structure, shaped with precise geometric angles, embedded far beneath the soil. The data showed smooth surfaces parallel lines and a design that strongly suggested intentional construction rather than natural geology. No conventional explanation could account for it. As excitement spread through the group, so did fear. A structure of that scale could represent an ancient civilization lost to history, or it could be evidence of advanced technology not created by human hands. Before excavation could begin, the team needed additional verification. They deployed more sensors around the site, but the moment these systems activated, the ranch erupted with violent electromagnetic activity. Compasses spun uncontrollably. Monitors flashed warnings. A surge of radiation spiked with enough intensity to threaten safety protocols. The operation was immediately halted. Despite preparing for extreme conditions, the team realized they were facing something beyond normal scientific boundaries. Whatever was buried underground did not want to be disturbed, and every attempt to reveal it triggered dangerous reactions. What was meant to be a controlled experiment now appeared to be a confrontation with an unknown intelligence or technology. Believing they were close to the breakthrough of a lifetime, the team prepared to investigate the buried structure more aggressively. But the moment they attempted to proceed, an event occurred that forced them to reconsider everything they thought they understood about the ranch and its secrets. The research team returned to the site, determined to uncover more information about the mysterious underground structure detected by ground-penetrating radar. Confident that the previous malfunction was caused by environmental interference, they initiated a controlled second scan. This time, they expanded coverage and increased resolution, hoping to build a more complete picture. As the equipment powered on, the data feed revealed details far more shocking than the initial discovery. The object beneath the surface appeared to span a massive area, constructed with straight lines, curved segments, and perfectly measured angles that no natural rock formation could produce. It resembled the internal skeleton of a machine or facility rather than a geological anomaly. The deeper the scan penetrated, the more complex the structure appeared. Sections of the image suggested chambers, interconnected pathways, and what looked like reinforced walls made of a metallic substance with density far beyond anything recorded in the nearby terrain. It raised a stunning possibility. Something had been intentionally built beneath Skinwalker Ranch long before modern history documented human settlement in the region. The team members exchanged uneasy glances, aware that they might be standing above an artifact capable of rewriting the history of human civilization. But as they refined the scans, the ranch responded violently. Instruments that had held stable suddenly spiked into the danger zone. Alarms sounded as radiation levels climbed rapidly. A strong electromagnetic pulse surged through the system, shutting down computers and overheating sensors. The sky above them shifted unnaturally as a bright streak of light cut across the valley, traveling in complete silence at a speed no aircraft could achieve. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a glowing sphere hovering briefly before vanishing instantly. Within seconds, communication systems collapsed, leaving the team isolated. The chaos escalated when one crew member collapsed without warning, suffering intense disorientation and burns on his skin. Despite no exposure source in the environment, medical sensors detected abnormal changes in his body temperature and heart rhythm. As emergency responders carried him away, he repeatedly muttered that something was watching them from below, a presence or intelligence aware of their every action. His condition remained unstable for days, and he had no memory afterward of what he experienced. With their equipment disabled, the team attempted to retrieve the digital data collected before the power failure. To their shock, large portions of the stored information had been corrupted or erased completely, as if wiped intentionally. The remaining fragments, however, confirmed the scale and complexity of the object underground. There was no doubt. They had found something engineered, something hidden purposefully, and something reacting aggressively whenever attempts were made to expose it. The team immediately requested controlled excavation authorization, understanding the monumental significance of this discovery. But before approval could be processed, events took a darker and more suspicious turn. A group of unidentified vehicles arrived at the ranch with heavily equipped personnel who provided no explanation for their presence. Access to the site was restricted, and the research was halted without justification. The History Channel team was left with a single burning question. What was so important beneath the ranch that powerful forces were willing to intervene instantly to stop its exposure? The arrival of these unknown officials raised more questions than answers and marked the beginning of a confrontation between scientific curiosity and hidden authority. What followed would reveal that the secrets buried beneath Skinwalker Ranch were never meant to be uncovered, and someone was prepared to protect them at any cost. The sight of unmarked vehicles rolling through the gates of Skinwalker Ranch changed the tone of the investigation immediately. The team had expected scientific debate and cautious evaluation, but instead they were met with swift, silent control. Men in tactical gear emerged, carrying specialized equipment that appeared designed for radiation management and electromagnetic containment. Without identifying themselves, they proceeded directly to the excavation site, ordering the research team to stand back and cease all operations. The message was unmistakable. Whatever lay underground was considered highly classified, and access to it was now restricted under authority far beyond the production crew's reach. The team attempted to request documentation confirming the shutdown, but no paperwork was presented. Every question was met with the same response. They were instructed to leave the immediate area and await further instructions. Surveillance cameras at the site went offline moments after the officials arrived. Hard drives containing recent scan data were confiscated without explanation, and radio frequencies across the ranch were jammed. For a location historically shielded from public knowledge, this level of intervention suggested one thing: someone was prepared long before the discovery occurred. Rumors began circulating among insiders. According to former military personnel familiar with classified aerospace programs, Skinwalker Ranch had been monitored for decades under secret government projects. Some claimed that the underground structure might be connected to experimental technology recovered from unknown craft. Others suggested that the object could be a containment vault designed to hold something dangerous, perhaps something not created by humans. The arrival of specialized radiation control units and electromagnetic shielding equipment supported these theories, but no confirmation was provided. Brandon Fugel and the research team were left in a position that felt less like partnership and more like occupation. Official explanations were vague and contradictory. One representative insisted the interference was part of a standard safety review. Another stated that the land had been flagged as a restricted zone for national security reasons long before the team ever began filming. Neither explanation aligned with the sudden urgency or the aggressive confiscation of evidence. The more questions the team asked, the tighter the restrictions became. Entry to key areas of the ranch was blocked. Access to their own research building was temporarily denied. Security patrols increased drastically, and drones that once conducted aerial surveys were grounded without permission to relaunch. The team found themselves observers, powerless to continue the investigation they had dedicated years of resources to. Behind closed doors, members of the crew expressed suspicion that the government had known about the underground structure long before the History Channel project began. It appeared as if they had been waiting for someone to get close enough to require intervention. If the discovery had been unexpected, the response would have taken time. but the presence of specialized personnel and equipment mere hours after the scan suggested preparation, planning, and long-term surveillance. The intervention confirmed what many had feared. This was no ordinary archaeological find and no natural geological formation. Something beneath the ranch held value, danger, or knowledge that powerful authorities believed must remain hidden, and if the world ever learned the truth, it could challenge fundamental beliefs about history, technology, or the origin of human civilization itself. Among the team, a new sense of determination formed. If someone was willing to go to such extremes to silence the truth, then whatever was underground must be extraordinary. The shutdown was not the end. It was a warning. As silence fell across the ranch and the investigation was forced to a halt, theories began to spread rapidly, and suspicion of an intentional cover-up ignited worldwide. What people believed was hidden beneath Skinwalker Ranch would soon become more controversial than the discovery itself, leading to questions that no one in power seemed willing to answer. In the weeks following the forced shutdown of the investigation, the atmosphere surrounding Skinwalker Ranch shifted from scientific curiosity to tense uncertainty. The research team was restricted to limited areas of the property, monitored closely, and provided no updates regarding the underground structure or the confiscated data. Every attempt to request transparency was met with silence. What had begun as a public exploration documented for television now resembled a classified operation cloaked in secrecy. For many involved, the abrupt change confirmed their worst fears. Something extraordinary lay beneath the ranch, and powerful forces intended to conceal it. Speculation spread rapidly, both within the team and among experts observing from the sidelines. Some theorized that the underground object could be the remains of an ancient structure built by a civilization lost long before recorded history. If true, it could rewrite the timeline of human development and challenge long-accepted theories of archaeology. Others believed the structure might be the wreckage of an advanced craft not built by human hands, explaining the violent electromagnetic reactions and the unexplained phenomena that continued to occur on the surface. There was also a darker possibility discussed quietly among insiders, that the structure was not simply a buried artifact, but an active installation still functioning in unknown ways. That theory suggested the radiation spikes and electromagnetic pulses were not random interference, but deliberate defensive mechanisms. If the object was still operational, it raised a chilling question: who or what built it, and for what purpose? As global interest intensified, those involved in the project began to experience increasing pressure to remain silent. Former team members reported receiving phone calls warning them to discontinue discussion of the discovery's social media posts referencing the scans or the underground anomaly disappeared without explanation. Individuals attempting to leak details anonymously found their accounts locked or removed. To many observers, these events provided undeniable evidence of systematic suppression. Despite the silence, the mystery refused to fade. The more information that disappeared, the more people demanded answers. Debates erupted among scientists, journalists, and theorists. If the buried structure was simply a geological formation, why seize data and block access? If it posed a legitimate danger, why not disclose safety findings? And if nothing extraordinary existed at all, why were individuals risking legal consequences to hide it? The controversy surrounding Skinwalker Ranch evolved from curiosity into a global search for truth. Questions lingered that no official source would address. What technology could generate radiation bursts powerful enough to disable electronics instantaneously? Who authorized the shutdown before the research team even completed analysis? Why were unmarked vehicles permitted to take control without accountability? And most importantly, What is the true purpose of the massive structure hidden beneath the ground? For many, the silence itself became the answer. Secrets this aggressively protected are almost never ordinary. Whatever lies beneath Skinwalker Ranch may represent knowledge with the power to alter history, technology far beyond human capability, or evidence proving humanity is not alone. Whether the truth eventually emerges or remains buried depends on how far those seeking answers are willing to go. The world continues to watch, and the pressure for disclosure grows stronger every day. The events at Skinwalker Ranch remain unresolved, and what comes next may determine whether the truth is revealed or lost forever. This story is far from finished. The unanswered questions surrounding Skinwalker Ranch represent one of the greatest modern mysteries, and every attempt to hide the truth only fuels greater determination to uncover it. The discoveries made here challenge everything we believe about history, science, and our place in the universe. And until transparency replaces silence, the search for answers will continue. If you want more investigations and deeper analysis into what is really happening beneath Skinwalker Ranch, comment subscribed and make sure you are subscribed so you never miss the next discovery. The truth is coming, and when it finally surfaces, the world will never be the same.